Hello and welcome to my channel. I call it Astronomy Meets Christianity because we're using astronomy to determine dates in the life of Jesus Christ. Now, we can determine dates in astronomy exactly using free downloadable programs that show the sky in Jerusalem or any other place at any particular date. There are other programs that tell you when lunar eclipses happen, when solar eclipses happen. And this time, we're trying to pin down with certainty the date of the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. I'm very excited. We got a very first subscriber. I was looking at the videos, and unfortunately, the average view time is about 18 minutes. Apparently, I tend to drone off and talk too much. I wanted to show step by step how to do and how to investigate various things, but it seems that it's preferable just to kind of show the results and then just write on the description how to do it. So I'll try to be briefer and with a shorter explanation, and possibly divide the videos that I planned into more videos. So thank you very much for subscribing. That really helps me a lot. We have our first subscriber. Let's talk about the 15th of Tiberius. We went through a lot of time discussing the various eclipses that from which we can know with certainty that the 15th of Tiberius was from the 19th of August of 29 AD to the 18th of August of 30 AD. That's counting from the death of Augustus. Other people do it from September 17th, which is when the Senate kind of officially gave him the powers. But he was already emperor, so. And for this discussion, it doesn't matter if it starts in August or September. The end result is the same. So this date is known with certainty. Now, once we know the 15th of Tiberius, that's when he was baptized. The question is, how many years did Jesus preach? If you knew how many years Jesus preached, then we would know when he was crucified. And therein lies the problem. The problem is that the earliest historian that wrote in Latin, Tertullian, says it was 1 year. And he thought it ended on March 25th of 29 AD, which is ridiculous. Either that means that that he only preached for 2 weeks from the 1st of Nisan to the 14th, or that he started on a Roman date, on a Roman year, on the 1st of January, which only gives him 3 months. So it's hard to believe that the ancients thought that. Clement of Alexandria also says 1 year, and he based it on Jesus declaring, this is the acceptable year of the Lord, on his first year ministry. He says, okay, he said this is the acceptable year, so he must have preached for only 1 year, which is ridiculous also. But in any event, he said, or he speculated, that he taught from 29 AD to 30 AD. Then we have Jerome, who took the workings of Eusebius and translated them and expanded them. And he says that Jesus Christ taught for 3 years. And those 3 years ended in the 18th of Tiberius, which would be the spring of 33 AD. That's what our expectation would be. And there's another author called Epiphanius, who also says he taught for 3 years. Epiphanius wrote around 300 and something AD. I'll show that on the links below on the description. The question is, well, was it 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? We can discard the 1 year option because the Gospel of John can be searched on the downloadable Bible that I showed you in a prior link, the King James Bible, and you can search it for the word Passover, and you'll see that there are 3 references to Passover. There are references to the first year of the ministry, right after his baptism. There is a Passover when he fed the multitude, on verse 6:4. And there are multiple mentions of the Passover on the Passover crucifixion. So that means you have 1 Passover at the beginning, 1 Passover at the middle, and 1 Passover at the end. So it's at least 2 years of ministry. But we can go further. Notice that Jesus fed the multitude at 2 separate times. The time where he did the 7 loaves of the 4,000, and the times where he did the 5 loaves of the 5,000. And these are the words of Jesus Christ himself. So there is no doubt that he fed the multitude twice. Now, if one of them was around a Passover, then the other one likely was a separate year, also in the Passover, which would imply 3 years. So we had crossed over 1 year of ministry. It explicitly tells us there are 2 years, and it's likely there were 3 years of ministry. So how do we know for sure? Fortunately, we have additional information that tells us that Jesus Christ was crucified on a Friday. He was crucified during the day of the Passover, which is Nisan 14. That's the 14th day of the moon. And then right after that night, it became the 15th on the same day. And that's when the moon was observed. So the method we need to figure out is we need to figure out when the 15th of the moon was, and make sure it was on a Friday. We had already eliminated 1 year of ministry because the Gospel of John explicitly calls out 2 years of ministry. So we're going to check 2 and 3 years. To do that, we start in the 2nd year Tiberius, which is the spring of 32 AD. First, we need to find the spring equinox in 32 AD. So we pull out our astronomical program. I'm using Stellarium, version 21.3. I already explained how to download it, how to set it up, and how to use it on my very first episode of this series. And we'll set up the year around the beginning of March of 32 AD, around noontime. It doesn't have to be noontime. Right around sunset. Because they took the moon measurement at sunset. And we need to figure out when the equinox fell. To do that, we search for the sun. And we see that the vernal equinox corresponds to 0 degrees on the ecliptic. I think, noon is better because it's horizontal. So here's the sun. And I have also taken out, for you to do this, it's easier if you take out the atmospheric visualization, because otherwise the sun is too bright, and take out the landscape show ground, because sometimes the sun is underneath the earth or the moon is underneath the earth. So if we want to see it, we ensure that we can see it. We eliminate the show ground. So we walk the days until the vernal equinox. Oops. And we see it happened on the 23rd. On the 23rd, almost the 24th of March of 32 AD. So we can come here and say spring equinox is March 23rd. Next, we need to find the first full moon after the vernal equinox or the spring equinox. So we look for the moon, and we see that the full moon has not happened yet. We set our observation time to 6 p.m., standardized at 6 p.m. for sunset. And we try to find the first full moon. First full moon is on 4/14 of 32 AD. So 4/14, 32 AD. And then from that, we find when the first of the month from a lunar conjunction happened, which is when the moon is fully dark. So we back it out until the moon, you cannot see a sliver of light, it's fully dark. You have a 0.7% illumination, waxing crescent. If you go one day farther back, it's too far, it'll be a waning crescent. So now we know that the first day of the lunar month, if it was done by lunar conjunction, which is what Jesus Christ was using, will be on 3:30, March 30th. So we put March 30th for the lunar conjunction. But that's the first day. If we want to see what the moon looked like on the day of the crucifixion, it was on the 15th, because it was the 14th was during the day, and the 15th is when it turns at night, and when the moon's measurement was taken. So we had 14 days to get to the Passover. Actually, it's not the Passover. It's the first day of unleavened bread. So then we had 14 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that'll be 4/13 on a Sunday. Which is a Sunday. And then, if the observation was done, if the beginning of the month was done a day after, then it would push the Passover one day after. So we can look at 4/14, and that would be on a Monday. That would be a Monday, and the next day would be a Tuesday, 4/15. And right there we can see that there is a problem. The crucifixion of Jesus Christ could not have happened on the second year of ministry. It could not have happened on the reign of the 17th of the reign of Tiberius, because we know it happened on a Friday. And this tells us on that year it would have happened either on Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. Not possible. So now we check if there were 3 years of ministry, the crucifixion happening on the 18th year of Tiberius, which will be 33 AD. We repeat the whole process again. So we come over here, we search for the sun, set the time to 12, we look at the beginning of March, we find the vernal equinox. Again, it happened either the 23rd or 24th. Oops, I'm in the wrong year. There. On 33, it happened on the 23rd of March. Now we look for the first full moon. And that would be on April 3rd. You can see there is an eclipse happening. The first full moon is on April 3rd. Then we back out when the moon by lunar conjunction will happen. Here you can see a sliver of light. The day before is 1.9% illuminated. The day before that is 0% illuminated. So that's 319 is the first day of the lunar month of Nisan if it was done by lunar conjunction. So we put it here 319. 0%. Then we add 14 days, which would be the Passover if it was done by lunar conjunction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that tells us it's Thursday. And that matches the Last Supper. That's why Jesus Christ had his Last Supper on Thursday, because he was doing it by lunar conjunction. Thursday 4/2. 4/2 is Thursday. Plus 1 day is 4/3, which is Friday. And 4/4 is Saturday. So now we know with certainty, because that's the only time it could have happened, that Jesus Christ was crucified on his third year of ministry on the 18th of Tiberius on 33 AD. No if, and, or buts. There's no question, no guesstimates, no nothing. I mean, this is it. Why? Because we know the date of Tiberius, the 15th year of Tiberius, also with certainty. It will restore the percent illumination. And restore the landscape. You'll see that Jesus Christ was crucified around the 9th hour, which is around 3 p.m. We'll calculate exactly what hour it is. And then the sun was setting. Everybody was looking at the horizon because they needed to wait until the sun set for the day to switch to the 15th so they could start eating the Paschal meal. So as the sun is setting on the west, you can see the moon starting to rise on the east. And there it is. As it's rising, the very tip of it is completely red, or dark red, and the rest of it is reddish because it's having a penumbral eclipse. And that comes from, and that verifies the words of Peter in the Acts when he said, he quotes a prophecy and he says the moon was red. Now, during 40 days after the crucifixion, around 40 days, when the apostles were all together and the Holy Ghost came down upon them, they started speaking in tongues. The Acts describes what happened, and people said, "Oh, they're drunk, they're speaking in tongues." And then Peter said, "They're not drunk. They have received the Holy Spirit, and this is a fulfillment of the prophecy of Joel that said the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and notable day of the Lord come." So he's saying this 40 days after the crucifixion. So this implies that he saw the moon turn red into blood. Of course, between the crucifixion and his death at 3 p.m. On the 3rd hour to 9th hour, he says everything went dark, and the most likely explanation is there was a storm that got dark. After the 9th hour, it cleared up again, and that's why the moon could be seen on the 1st hour, which is after the 12th hour. The 12th hour ended with sunset, and after the sunset, it began the 1st hour. And that's why the moon could be seen, and it was red, because the skies had cleared up. So everything matches, everything is certain. We know now this date with certainty. Many men have studied, many scholars have studied the date of the crucifixion. And they have proposed various dates. But they have not been certain. They have been, this is the best date, the date that best matches the data, the most probable date. And through the process I just showed you, now we know for certain. And in fact, in the next episode, I'll show you further astronomical confirmation. Let me give you the reference. Very interesting document. So the paper that Colin J. Humphreys and W.G. Waddington wrote is very interesting. And this is work that was done before I started all my other work, and I do not claim to have found the day of the crucifixion. This is their work and also other people. But I have tried to show you how you could calculate it with certainty. If we go to their paper, you see it was first published in JASA 37 in 1985. And here discuss the biblical background, the possible dates for the 14th of Nisan, trying to figure out what the 14th of Nisan was. They narrow down to 2 days. to a few years, 27, 30, 33, 27, 34. They discuss the eclipse that I just showed you. And then they end up saying on their conclusion, the main textual evidence for the time of crucifixion has been reviewed, and we have concluded that only two dates, the 7th of April of 30 AD and the 3rd of April 33 AD, fit the main pieces of evidence for when Jesus Christ died. Other textual evidence, more difficult to interpret correctly, strongly favors Friday, 3rd of April, 33 AD. This might be the reason, either 30 or 33 AD, might be the reason why Wikipedia says the crucifixion happened either in 30 or 33 AD. Now we know for sure, with certainty, that happened on 33 April. And we owe a debt of gratitude for these people, for the groundbreaking work that they did, in others as well. Well, I couldn't help myself. I talked too long. It's almost 30 minutes long. I'll try to speak faster or reduce the content or explain it better next time. But the point is, we know with certainty when the crucifixion of Jesus Christ happened. But more than that, and more important than that, is that what now we know at what percent illumination did the Jewish priest could see the moon. I mean, we didn't know. I mean, you can't tell from the program. I mean, if a sliver of light can be seen or not. And you can't do it nowadays because of the ground illumination from all the lights from all the cities illuminate the sky, so it makes it harder to see. So now we know exactly what illumination percentage they could see. And from that, we can recreate the Jewish calendar. Once you recreate the Jewish calendar, then you can tell the dates. So that's why I wanted to show this, the crucifixion from the start. This is basically the start of a long journey we're going to have going through many miracles of Jesus Christ and dating them. Thank you. Thank you very much for the one subscriber. I'll try to make this videos shorter, separate them into narrower and focused areas, and please like and subscribe and help my channel, and especially leave comments. I mean, tell me what I'm doing right, what do you prefer I do differently, and I'll listen to you. Since you are from the very beginning, you're on the ground floor, you're the guys to listen to. Thank you very much.